Well, I'll be damned. We're back. What's up, man? Dude, I was thinking in the shower, I was soaping up, and I was thinking, there is someone out there right now that is having the worst day out of everyone. They're actually having the worst day. Not of their life. Well, it would be of their life. But they're having the worst day out of everyone on earth. That's something to think about. Interesting. Very peculiar. No, but seriously, I mean, that can't be subjective. There's gotta be like a hierarchy of bad that can happen to you. I don't know what that is, but if you think about it, there's some trenches that a man could find himself in. Backing out of the garage on his way to the hospital, runs over his cat. He gets to the hospital, he gets diagnosed with cancer. He comes home, he's got a divorce filing in the mail. He goes and lays on his couch and he gets pink eye from where his cat was, wiping his little poo poo on the pillow. I mean, dude, there's levels to this. There's levels to this thing of suffering and bad that a person can go through. So, you got to take a look. Once in a while, I hate to be, I try to get away from that, be grateful, be grateful. I think being grateful, forcing yourself, it's okay. It's okay to look at your life and be like, yeah, this is hell. This is hell. But perhaps it is worth taking a look at your lot, where you stand, where you're at, what you can do. I just think it is very easy to get demoralized. It's super, and I think, dude, we're gotta be here more than just to talk about the Super Bowl performance, Kendrick Lamar, and how Taylor Swift got booed. There's gotta be more to life, man. There's just gotta be more than talking about this bullshit. I just think there's a huge demoralization going on that, maybe it started a long time ago. I had this idea, this emerging sort of psyop. I asked the guys in the group, I said, I'm doing a recon. How many of you found a nude magazine out in the woods when you were young? A set of titties just hiding in the bushes. You come across one of those Hustlers, those Playboy mags. You pick it up, and dude, when you first see that, I think all the dopamine is drained from your brain. Like all the dopamine waterfalls out of your brain at once. I was flabbergasted when I came across this. But what I've noticed is that a lot of people actually came across this. I used to live in Florida. This is not an Ohio thing, by the way. I was living in Ohio for a while. People think this is an Ohio thing. No, this is Florida. And there's a lot of crazy Florida men. So there was these hobos, I told you guys the story, but me and my buddy, we would go and hunt for the hobo camps. And because a lot of them would have the Playboy magazines. You could catch a few here and there. But what I noticed is man, you go everywhere. Back in the day, this might be a 90s thing. There's not as many Playboy mags just blowing in the wind these days. Because of the internet. But back in the day, you go to the skate park and you look under the bench and there's a pair of titties just staring back at you. So you never know what you're going to find out there. The demoralization. I think the psyop is they were planning this shit. Who is they? I don't know. Some perverts. Some, was it the governor of Florida? Was it the mayor of Tampa? No. Someone was putting out some pervert was walking around the neighborhood with his little pamphlets, like these little Christian pamphlets of pornos, just shipping them out. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Have some little for this neighborhood. Gonna put it in this kid's backyard. Someone was doing this shit, man. Someone was doing it. I don't know who. But just another way to demoralize you from a young age. You ain't supposed to see all that filth. Absolute filth. One of my earliest dreams, actually, thinking about this, my earliest dream was of a pervert in the neighborhood. I have this reoccurring dream of someone in a van that is a pervert. And it haunts me in my dream. Now, this never happened, but now that I think about it, maybe it did happen. Dude, what the fuck? That's crazy. Imagine if there was just like your subconscious kid mind picked up on a little pervert roaming through your city, but he didn't want to mess with you because I was a pretty big kid. I was a big husky kid. That's what my mom would say. You're a husky, so you're not fat, you're just husky. I was big. He's not gonna pick me up off my bike and put me in his van. No, he's gonna go for the little kids. So maybe that's an early thing. Demoralization is what we're talking about here. Demoralization is the name of the game. There's gotta be freaking more to life than bullshit, man. Than getting filled with fear, demoralized, and really, like, here's what I've narrowed it down to. Take a look at where your life is. And if you're one of these people that think, oh man, if I could just had $1,000, listen, $1,000 isn't going to solve your problem. I would even go to wager that $10,000 isn't going to solve your problem. Because once you get the $10,000, let's say you're 21 to 30, maybe older, you've been living your whole life until this moment without, that excess of money. When you get that money, you will return. What are you going to do? Start investing it into the S&P 500? You're going to suddenly start becoming this gigabrain that just like starts making investments and flipping vehicles or sinks 10K in new business. It's like, no, man. The problems you have now are for a deeper reason. And this is a real big thing because I used to think like this too. A shift has to occur in your life. Like you have to start thinking about, what do I actually want to do? And if you come up with an answer to that question about like, what do I want to do? What do I want to try? And if you're trying it, you're actually walking down that path, you're setting out on that path, you're trying new things, well then you better be damn patient and see it through. One of the hardest things to do now is just remember. Memory is everything. Really, to remember what you even want to do. Because again, why not just go on Twitter and look at all of the bullshit and see Kendrick Lamar, not like us, this beef between Drake. Dude, it's all garbage. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. This is garbage. It is demoralizing. It is confusing. How can you ever remember what you want or figure out what you want in your life with so much nonsense? You just will never. And then you'll be thinking, oh, I need $10,000 to solve my problem. No, dude, you have your problems to begin with and you're in a bad place because you don't have anything to pursue. You're demoralized. You're not chasing anything anymore. You have no thumos. I mean, how are you supposed to get a leg up with a spirit like that? It's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. It's one of the reasons I recommend reading. And I don't even think you should just read a bunch of books all the time. I'm like, Ty Lopez, read a book a day. I don't think you need to do that. Sometimes I read books I read 10 years ago just to help me remember. I think sitting down and reading, allowing your mind that time to sort of relax, you will start to remember. You'll start to get motivated just out of sheer boredom. You'll be motivated. You won't even know why. You want to live. You want to go do something. You get creative thoughts. It's like when you're in the shower, you're butt ass naked, stripped of everything, just nothing going on. In that little shower, butt naked, water hitting you. That's usually when you get some interesting thoughts. You start capturing that childlike spirit that all of us have inside. You start getting back to the root of who you are. Stripped naked of all the nonsense, all of the messaging, all of the acts that's another people. A lot of men these days act so much, walking around with these super stoic faces, acting maybe macho, acting like a stoic, acting. We live in a world full of actors, and then we wonder why do we hate everyone else? We're not even real ourselves, man. A lot of us just learn to act. What the hell is going on? So you have to get back to a real spot, uncovering that childlike wonder in yourself, being fun again. But a lot of you don't even know how to have fun. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you, man. I'm just throwing this out there because I've seen this in self and other people, like, what, people don't even have fun. You ask them what they do. A lot of people just lift, play old video games, and like eat and go on the internet. I mean, what are you actually doing in this life that is fun and that provides a sense of discovery and a sense of wonder and awe? Yeah, something to get excited about. Woo! You know? A lot of people don't have that. So they just keep feeding themselves a junk diet that demoralizes them and crushes their spirit. Again, part of it is just remembering why. You know, with that why, man, you keep going forward and you're patient. I talked to a guy yesterday in our group. Awesome guy, man. Really nice. Just wanted someone to talk to. And I asked him about his life. He's 28. He's kind of he just got fired, but it was a job he hated. I'm like, dude, that's a blessing, man. Like, it's a blessing. He's got a little cash. He can chill for a second and figure out his next move. But I'm like, dude, don't get impatient. You don't need a woman right now. You don't need everything figured out right now. You have a place to live. You have a roof over your head. You have food. You're healthy. You're having a pretty damn good day. You know, someone is out there right now that is having the worst day out of everyone, man. Seriously. That's going to continue happening. So, what's the rush? You know, really, what is the rush? If you simply have will, okay, you have will, stop grouping yourself in with parties, you know, stop grouping yourself in with a loser mindset, like where the only path that these guys could potentially end up is losing. All the people, you know, you see a lot of these groups on Twitter, okay, and even if there's some truth to it, don't group yourself into it. If you're grouping yourself into being an incel, there's no path to victory, man. Fabian in our group says these damn incels, they want to complain. Just look at Danny DeVito, man. Danny DeVito. He's like 4'11". Okay, you're not Danny DeVito, but you know, not him. But hey, listen, why group yourself in with any losing team? If the spirit isn't there, get out, because your will is just going to be done. There's just so many of these now. It's really easy to. The older one is still going around, but the MGTOW, men going their own way. Just like, even if you're going to go your own way, why slap a label on it? Why be a part of a losing team? That means because women are cheating, whores. The hypocrisy from women. Give me a freaking break, dude, these smooth brains out there that you got to deal with, that you got to hear the complaints of smooth brains. I'm telling you, if you have will, you got to find will. You got to find purpose. No one can tell you. And that should be something you don't even need to know exactly. That's the thing, you don't need to know. This is interesting. I'm gonna wrap it up with this little thing because I find this very fascinating. There's this great book in the jiu-jitsu community. There's this sort of revolutionary opinion on how you should train differently. Now, a lot of people criticize this guy. A lot of people think it's genius. Essentially, this guy doesn't even drill. He lets his students play games. So he puts them in mount, and he said he doesn't even instruct them really how to hold the mount, how to dominate the mount. He says, okay, try not to let that other person get up. That's all you do. Just try not to. Or try to pass this person's guard. Now, most people say that's retarded. You have to instruct exactly how to do this move with opponent that's not really resisting you. And if you don't do that, they're never going to get better. You need the technique. But to be honest, a lot of people, when they first start to pass a guard, they go around the outside or they go right through. But they don't have enough repetition to really figure it out. So they're sort of doing the right thing. They're sort of filling out, but they're so fresh and new that they don't know exactly what to do. So the theory is that just by doing it, you sort of figure it out, which is very interesting to think about. And I think that is why getting, when you put constraints on yourself, what this guy in the book, How to Move, or How We Learn to Move, is just you put constraints on your learning. For instance, you don't try to just throw someone in and do 5 minutes of all-out sparring. You put them in the mount and you say, try to hold the person here. And slowly, once they do this a few times, they start to adjust their body. Maybe they give the person like a cross face. Maybe they start to adjust their base. They put their hands out a little more. Maybe they start to sink their hips. So there's natural learning occurring by just playing these games that have constraints on them. And so in the same way, this came from a little backstory. This came from a study called Bernstein's hammer, which was a blacksmith. He was a legendary blacksmith, and they studied him and a fresh blacksmith that had not been in the game very long. This guy, the master, would hit and it would land exactly on the same spot of the iron, the smithing table, whatever, twice in a row. Exact same spot. The novice would hit and it would be a little bit different. What was amazing about this Bernstein's hammer study is that the blacksmith, even though he hit the same point 2 times in a row, exactly the same, his body did not do the same exact swing. He had to adjust on the fly. And that is the most compelling for this way of learning, is that just going by theory and technique and doing one way in the most efficient way that you have been told to do, or that makes sense, doesn't mean that it works in a crazy environment, because things are changing. So if I learn how to hold mount on someone that is not resisting, I learn perfect technique. That technique does not translate to holding mount on a resisting opponent that maybe weighs 50 pounds heavier this time, 30 pounds lighter this time. It's ever changing. The same applies with life. Just because you have all of this theory and all of this nonsense and you get rigid does not mean that you get good. Okay? You must adapt. You must flow in life in order to truly learn. And so if you are a man of an impatient nature and you don't get your reps in, per se, under real stress, under real life scenarios, if you live in an imaginary world inside your head, you're never actually going to learn. So what you need to do is try. And a lot of you guys have so much energy right now, and you have the will, you have all of the tools necessary to try, but you get demoralized and you stop and you think things are too hard and you think the world is rigged against you and you think that you think that like someone's out to get you. You think that your looks are not good enough. You think that you'll never get the girl. You think that you're doomed to like be miserable and never find meaning and joy and never help out anyone else and never live a good life and not have the kids and not own a home. Yeah, it's demoralizing. Things are tough. But again, you have everything you need to learn. You have everything, and that's life, and life will teach you. You just have to be willing to show up and practice until you get good, until you get skin in the game, okay? A lot of people out there talking, zero skin in the game, okay? They're giving you their theory that they've learned from isolating themselves, never trying, and failing because they fail because they don't even try, you know? So what could they offer other than theory? So be wary, okay? And just remember why. Remember to remember your reason. Once you get started, keep going, see it through. All right, if it's time to call it quits and do something else, fine. But like, part of it is just remembering and not getting discouraged. So keep it high, Thumos, man. That's what it's all about. It's always about the Thumos. That's why we have the brotherhood. That's why we unite under this spiritedness that we want to encourage in the individual so that he can make his life better. That's my hope. That's the reason for this channel. You know, having fun, keeping the lights on up there because, it gets pretty dark out there. So, stay in the light, baby. High Thumos, boys. I'll see you soon. Peace.